Cathy, you were nominated and won a Juno Award. Tell us about that.
Okay, I was nominated in 1974 for the Junos. The year before, they actually went to broadcast TV in 75. So I was nominated and won Most Promising Female Vocalist in 1974. And 1975, I was very grateful to be in the Best Female Artist category. Of course, Anne Murray was the winner that year, as many other years. And I sent her a song anyway.
Well, just to be in that category was amazing.
It was a win.
Oh, yeah, just to be nominated is a win. What song was that for?
It was from my album, the second album, Travel Stained, which featured 35 top Canadian artists. I always like to have the boys and girls come and play in my sandbox. So that was for Travel Stained, which was on the GRT label. It was a Canadian-only release. I had originally recorded an album in 1969, and it was one of the first internationally released albums from Canada. It was on the Mainstream label. It was out of New York, originally a jazz label, but they also had Big Brother and the Holding Company, and they were venturing into the rock and pop worlds.
Growing up as a teenager, I was always fascinated by the Yorkville scene. You were quite an integral part of that, weren't you?
I hit the streets in 1966, December, well, a little earlier than that. And I never left for about 3 years. I left in 1969. And I had a little writing what I wrote. Yorkville was my home, my preacher, my teacher, my head, my bed, my heart, my soul, the birthplace of my rock and roll.
It was world famous at one point. If not world, it was famous all over North America. A lot of artists came out of that era.
Indeed, well, as we all know, Gordie Lightfoot, Joni Mitchell, who started out as Joni Anderson. I got to see her at the Penny Farthing when she was there. And also of course, Bruce Cockburn, Murray McLaughlin, the list goes on. Anne Murray, the Stampeders.
Wow.
We've had the best. We laid the land out. We set the bar, and we did really, really well. To Guess Who, got to give them a little tip of the hat to BTO. It was an amazing time to be anywhere. I remember Chum FM doing their very first broadcast in Yorkville at the Upper Crust restaurant, and they played my demo. That's how much it was in the innovative cycle at that time.
That must have been a thrill.
It really was. It felt like we were all family. The radio stations, nobody was too fancy. We were all starting out together. We were all pioneers, and it was a wonderful time to be there. It was a heady time of innovation and people sitting around and teaching each other, sharing music. I was taught how to play harmonica by a guy who looked like, well, we called him Sonny. He looked like Bob Dylan, had the camel hair coat and the whole thing. And his name later became Leon Redbone. Yeah. And we were hanging out. Also, I sat and played with a great guy who had a club in Yorkville. His name was Lonnie Johnson.
Okay.
One of the original blues players. Robert Johnson, Lonnie Johnson. I remember Danny Marks came up and I introduced him to Lonnie, and he told me, he's credited me since with that changed his life. He, from that point on, just fell for the blues, and of course Danny was in the band, Edward Bear.
Yes.
And right now he's all that. He's got his own radio show, and he's actually played some of my material. I listen to him every Saturday night because I get an education.
And he's quite knowledgeable about the blues. We'll be right back with more of Cathy Young right after this short break.
So you own a business, have an event you want people to know about. You want to spread the word to as many people as possible that your product or service exists. Call AdWorks International. AdWorks is an advertising agency which utilizes professionals in radio, television, and print advertising to help you get your company's message across. Your ad will be noticed by more people more quickly. AdWorks from concept to completion will deliver an ad that works. AdWorks International. Call 416-832-7293.
Long and McQuaid, where the music begins.
Back in the early days, Danny Marks was the guitar player for the band Edward Bear, and they had quite a few big hits, and your sister was part of the influence on, from what I understand.
3 of them, actually. Larry and the band were playing in Yorkville, and my sister was dancing at the Minor Bird. She was the go-go girl in the window, and I was performing. I was the musician, and Doug Henning was the house magician. I was the house musician. King Ricardo was the limbo dancer who ate light bulbs, and my sister was a go-go dancer in the window. And the boys would stand underneath the window and just watch her. She was amazing. She had little, go-go boots, a little bitty skirt, and just drove the whole street crazy. And Larry asked me if I would introduce him to her. I said, okay. And I did. And he gave me a gift after. He gave me a beautiful suede guitar strap, which I still have on my Martin. And he reminded me recently that he gave me a German World War II soft butter leather coat, full length. And I remember that coat, but I didn't know where I got it from. Thanks, Larry. I remember now.
Mm-hmm. And your sister, she's still around?
My sister's still around. She inspired a song called, well, a very familiar song that went gold, called Last Song. It's the last song I'll ever write for you. And she also inspired a song called Close Your Eyes and Masquerade.
So what happened? Your sister split from Larry, or are they still together?
Events happened. And my sister left to go to Europe because of a family situation. It wasn't necessarily that she wanted to leave Larry. She loved him very much. But she had to get away because my mother had an accident and she fell from 3 stories. And they didn't think that she was going to make it. I was on a tour up north with Jesus Christ Superstar. Yes, we did North Bay. And I didn't know I had a show to do that night. And I did it. And the whole cast, I wondered why they were giving me access to the mirrors so fast. You used to have to fight over them to get your makeup off. I thought, oh, they know I have a show to do. So I went and did the show. But my mother, they had already known that probably she wasn't going to make it through the night. And yet I still had to get through that show. But I didn't know. So they didn't tell me till the end. So my sister, of course, just said, I got to get out of here. And she left. And she she left with a gentleman who was a saxophone player with Elvin Jones. And they were doing a tour. So she went just to get away because she couldn't stay. I get it. And
So she eventually came back to Canada?
she came back to Canada. And they actually had a chance to reconnect and have a huge hug. It was really warm, heartwarming. I was part of, still am part of, the Spirit of Yorkville. It's a non-profit, and we have put on a couple of events to celebrate Yorkville in the 50th anniversary of the Love Inn in Queen's Park. And I asked Edward Bear if they would come and play, because I had met them at another function. They were together, they hadn't seen each other in years. And they were there to celebrate our mutual friend Richie York. And may he rest in peace, who loved Edward Bear and really promoted them. So they were there to say happy birthday, happy 70th birthday to Richie, and they got to see each other again. And I asked them, would they do this? And again, Danny said, thank you, because this would not have happened had we not been in the same place at the same time. We really did want to play together. And they did. And there is some footage of it. Our friend Carmen has it. I'd love to see it one day.
I'd love to check it out. What year was that?
That year was around 2013, maybe 10 years ago. The Max, 13, 14. It was, we did two separate events, and they were just wonderful. They went over fantastic, really nice. And the Spirit of Yorkville.
We'll have to dig more into that, won't we?
We're trying to do a mural in Yorkville because, you know, there's murals there. There's one of them from 1800 and something, and then you look below it and it's all the advertisements for Bulgari and different places like that. Well, there was something that happened in between the 1800s and now that made this place an international destination for touring and just enjoying. We have a historical significance which has not been validated.
And being destroyed by high-rise and condo buildings.
Well, we tried to put a museum together, and someone bought the building, and we're trying to get the space for a museum still there, so it's still in the air. There are people actively trying to validate that part of history that's missing.
Well, thank you for this interview and for being such a pivotal part of Yorkville. And we'll be right back right after this short word from our sponsors.
Caribbean Showtime, embracing and celebrating diversity. For many, the journey of our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean has been a search for a new home, where opportunities abound, where migrants from every country around the world find a new beginning, a new career, a new and better life. A place where their hard work and contribution to this great country will pay off for generations to come. And although they may be from uniquely different islands, Caribbean Showtime is proud to represent them all by celebrating diversity with programs like Connecting with Culture, Pillars of the Community, Local Talent on Parade, What's Cooking, Caribbean Sunshine, documentaries, news and sports, religious programming, and much more. Celebrating, sharing, and uniting our vibrant community. CSTV, connecting the Caribbean diaspora.
Come to me, a one, a two, one, two, three.
You to have a good time, Cathy.